That's right, ladies and gents, today's video is sponsored by me, Mr. H. I am making my own H.P. Lovecraft horror film. Check out the GoFundMe link down below if you want to support independent and original film, and of course, H.P. Lovecraft and horror films. Breaking Lights is an exploration of depression, suicide, and mental health, and using that and H.P. Lovecraft as an allegory to explore that narrative. So check it out, the link down below. With that being said, on with today's video. Right, welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Quick video, I think, today. There's not an awful lot to go into. This is an article over on Deadline titled Mad Max spin-off Furiosa is now officially in the works at Warner Brothers with George Miller actually coming back as director. Obviously, George Miller is the creator of the Mad Max franchise and also a whole bunch of other bits and bobs that he's done across his quite varied directing history. Now, we've got a cast. So Anya Taylor-Joy is going to be Furiosa. So we'll get on to that into a second. I actually think that's quite good, actually. I like Anya Taylor-Joy. Now we've also got Chris Hemsworth and Yahya Abdul-Mateen 2. The second? 2? Who knows? Along for the ride. Now, okay. So this has been long in the works, like super long in the works. Because there was actually a lawsuit between George Miller and Warner Brothers, believe it or not, for unpaid fees. George Miller sued Warner Brothers because they didn't pay him enough, because they caused the production to overrun, basically. And he was like, well, no, you owe me money. And it looked like this would never get off the ground, and that was what was actually stalling it. Because, of course, Mad Max Fury Road came out. Loads of people loved it. I believe it did. I mean, it got lots of profit and lots of awards. Pretty sure it won awards anyway, off the top of my head. But basically, it was pretty well liked. You know, it was pretty well received. So for them to stall on it, it had to be pretty big, and that was from a lawsuit. Now, this article goes on to say that George Miller told Deadline about Furiosa having a deep backstory in the Mad Max universe, and now we finally get to see it. Warner Brothers is in advanced development. Advanced development, with Furiosa, a spin-off feature of Miller's multi-Oscar winning blockbuster Mad Max Fury Road, about the renegade character, played in that film by Oscar winner Charlize Theron, who was a notable force in Max's survival in the desert. Now, that's interesting, isn't it? It is advanced development. So, yeah, I mean, that, of course they would. Again, they've stalled on it for so long. And we don't know exactly what was settled in court. We have no idea from my basic research that I've done. Maybe this is part of it. You know, maybe fast-tracking the sequel or prequel, however you want to say, follow-up spin-off, is part of that settlement. Now, the standalone movie will reveal the origins of Furiosa and be played by Glass actress Anya Taylor-Joy in the title role. The movie will track the genesis of Furiosa before she teamed up with Max Rokatansky, say that quickly, in Fury Road. Chris Hemsworth and Yahya Abdul-Mateen 2 will also star in the movie that Miller will direct, co-write and produce with his longtime Oscar-nominated producing partner Doug Mitchell. Miller's own Australian-based Kennedy Miller Mitchell banner will produce. Now, okay, so a few things to know. Anya Taylor-Joy, I really like her as an actress. I think she's great, and seeing her play a badass, yeah. If she brings a certain amount of sass that she had in the New Mutants, FYI, is by no means a good movie or anything along those lines. However, her character in that of Magic was good. Like, she did well in that role. She did well. So I think, was it Magic? Oh, no idea. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But she was good in there, and I think she'll be good as a sort of sassy young Furiosa. You don't want it to be too hardened, right? Anya Taylor-Joy can do sort of nuance, and I'd like to see some of that. I don't want it to be dour and sad and depressed and boring. I'd like her to have a bit of sass about her, a bit of substance. And I think that'll be good. That's sort of my hope, that this film will go down rather than just dour and depressive, because that's just ultimately That's not going to be enjoyable to watch for 2 hours, is it? Let's be honest. Especially because most people want to watch Mad Max, for instance. So having a Furiosa movie, which is just ultimately depressing, nah, it's not the way forward. Now, Miller penned the script with Mad Max Fury Road co-writer Nico Lathouris. Miller's behind-the-scenes creative team includes such long-time Australian collaborators as production designer Colin Gibson, editor Margaret Sixel, sound mixer Ben Osmo, and makeup designer Leslie Vandervolt, each of whom won an Oscar for their work on Mad Max Fury Road, as well as first assistant director PJ Voten and second unit director and stunt coordinator Guy Norris. Taylor-Joy recently finished filming Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho and is currently filming Robert Eggers' The Northman. She's got some really good picks under her belt now. She's choosing very, very wisely. Lots of indie productions and just sort of slowly working up the ranks. It's really smart in terms of her filmmaking career. She was recently seen as the lead in the romantic comedy Emma, based on the Jane Austen novel. Her additional features include the sci-fi thrillers Split and Glass from M. Night Shyamalan. Beginning later this month, she can be seen starring as a chess prodigy in the miniseries The Queen's Gambit. This is what I mean. She's doing everything. And that's smart. That's very, very smart. Hemsworth is star of Marvel's, basically he's Thor. Now, I think that's good. I think that's good. And now, Deadline note that, the sequel Thor Love and Thunder is filming next March in Australia and in pre-production currently. So when are they going to film this? If they're filming in Australia, if they're filming the Furiosa thing in Australia, that could probably tie in with that. They could probably start around March, I would imagine. Like a pre-March into March. Yeah. The thing is that Australia's under quite a big lockdown at the moment, but their winter is in our summer and vice versa. So they could probably, if restrictions lift a little bit depending on where they're filming in Australia, they could probably start filming around December. 3-4 month shoot up until March, it could work, or even afterwards. But they wouldn't want to get too much into their winter period in Australia because it does actually get cold there, and predominantly they'll be in the desert, won't they? So they don't want. It's a balance. They don't want to get too cold or too hot. Now, Abdul-Mateen starred as the iconic supervillain Black Manta in Aquaman, and he's currently doing The Matrix. And yeah, he's done a lot as well, actually. But it'd be interesting to see him in a role which is a little bit more bigger, a bit more of a varied role, to be honest. I don't think he's done, outside of the things that I've seen him in to date, because I didn't watch Watchmen. And I haven't seen this Netflix series, The Trial of Chicago 7. All these other things I haven't seen him in. Us, he was barely in Us. So I'd like to see him actually do some acting for a change, which would be good. Hopefully he gets a big role in this. Hemsworth is good. I always like to see Hemsworth in stuff. He's a good actor. Very likeable dude. And the same as Anya Taylor-Joy. I think this is all good, basically. I still don't think there's a reason for this movie. I still want Mad Max to happen. And if they're doing sort of prequels and things like that, you've got to have a good story. You have to have a good story because ultimately we know where she ended up. So it has to be compelling enough. But I do trust George Miller. George Miller is good. And whether the writing is going to be great writing or it's just going to be a spectacle again, it doesn't matter to me. I'm happy to watch a movie knowing that it's a spectacle rather than a heavy narrative. I'm happy to do that as long as I'm not duped into it with a trailer, if that makes any sense. So what do you guys think of this? Let me know down below in the comments. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. You can stay up to date on the world of pop culture movie news by hitting the bell notification icon. Thank you all so much. Take care.